That's very old. That's very old. So there's very old material here. It's just been put together by some editors in an interesting fashion. Okay, and then now another weird thing happens. As he was leaving Bethel, where God had appeared to him 7, Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died. That's another tradition, I'm sure, associated with the oak tree at Bethel. And now here's someone else. You know, another story. Oh, you know why the oak tree here is called the Oak of Tears? Because Rebekah's nurse died there. I mean, I don't even think we ever heard of Rebekah's nurse before this, did we? I didn't even know Rebekah had a nurse. I thought Rebekah was brought up in northern Syria someplace. You follow me? I mean, what, when she came with Isaac, she brought her nurse with her? I don't know exactly what's meant by nurse. Servant, maybe? That could be. Anyway, what's she crying about? Because anyone who's buried someplace, usually there's some tears associated with it. Well, God appeared again to him on his return. This is Eloist, Padamaran 9:9. Your name is Jacob, but from now on you shall be called not Jacob, but Israel. Accordingly, they named him Israel. Didn't we have that before somewhere? Yeah, different text line. I think when he was leaving for that, that would have probably been a different text. I can't trace them all. Maybe Mr. Friedman can. So this is another parallel text about how he got his name Israel. God said, "I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful." El Shaddai, that's a Lebanese, Phoenician name for the deity in the area, all-powerful God. Be fruitful and multiply. And Jacob raised a monument, a stone, poured oil, and Jacob named the place Bethel. Come on, 50. How many times has this place been named? Now, how come ancient people who read this text never saw all these things? How come your grandfather's great-grandfather and great-great-grandfathers and mine too never saw any of this? I think it's because their minds weren't free. They weren't permitted to. Because anyone who has a free mind can see it very, very quickly. Do you see what I'm trying to say? You're not allowed to question the text in the tradition that most people grow up in, including maybe my own and yours. And therefore nobody did. Or if they had anything, they would just, well, I just don't understand that. Maybe it's beyond me. You know, it's like Darwinism. Everyone wants to beat down on Darwinism. My son just came back from the Galapagos Islands, and he was showing me the big turtles and different things there, and the finches with different beaks, and all the iguanas that are in the sea, and the ones that are on the land. And he was giving me all the Darwin conclusions from all this, and the way that they adapt to the environment, the adaptations that occur to a isolated environment, what we're seeing there. And you know, that's pretty impressive evidence for the way the species developed. I said I didn't think the Old Testament was necessarily against that in terms of evolution, but people took it as a threatening thesis. Well, nowadays, you see, you have a freer mind. It looks like we're getting a lot of monuments and deaths here. We're sort of tying everything up here. Line 16, on their way south from Bethel, Rachel is having another child, and that's Benjamin. And she was dying, so one of the traditions about Benjamin's name, line 18, is that he's called Ben-Oni, the child of my pain, because I'm going to die in childbirth here. And others are, I think that Benjamin is called Benjamin because he's Benjamin, the son of my days. When I was older, I had a son. Yamin is many days when I was, older, not son, And I think, of course, the Yamin is probably better than the Oni. But anyway, I don't know where that tradition is about Benjamin being the son of my years. I don't know if we'll find it here. So Rachel, whose other son was hers? Joseph. Which other son? And so there's two sons of Rachel, and she died. Notice where she's buried. Ephratah in Bethlehem. You read the prophets and they say, in Bethlehem, Ephratah, there will be born a son, and so on and so forth. And that's what Christian presentation considers to be Jesus. And the reason they consider it to be Jesus, Bethlehem, Ephratah, is because who was born in Bethlehem, Ephratah? It looks like David was born, or he comes from. So again, in the ideology of people, I don't know why they think this. I wouldn't think that because an ancestor came from a place. I had to come from that place, but in people's minds, these things have to have a connection for some reason. In any event, since they want to think of Jesus as a son of David, even though it's 10 centuries have gone by, this too is the place where Rachel is buried. I don't know what all the connections are there to Rachel and David. David comes from there, but this is like 1,000 years before David. But anyway, that's another interesting tradition. And Jacob raised a monument on her grave. And listen to what? This is different from what we've had, so all the other ones. And this is the tomb of Rachel, which is there to this day. Does your Bible say that? Something like that? Well, you know something? And I don't think it's a fake. It's still there. It's still there. It's on the road out of Jerusalem going south on the way to Bethlehem. On the right side of the road, I can just picture it right now, the outskirts of Bethlehem. And in fact, Israeli soldiers guard it with their lives because it's a shrine for Jews who care about Rachel and so on. And it's been a shrine for thousands of years. It's not a very big thing, it's just a sort of big round, that's a round thing like this. And let's see if I can have brought one of those things to write on the board with this time. See if I can find one. Dig down in my Halloween bag, and out comes this. It looks something like this. Like an igloo, really. And inside is one of these cairns. And I told you was in the shrine at Machpelah at Hebron. Do you have a clear view where all these places are? Well, I'll draw you another map in case you don't. I don't say I'm a beautiful map drawer, but here's, I'm not even running, Jerusalem, Shechem. It's all on the same line.